All right, let's be honest. Trying to figure out which diet plan is actually going to work for weight loss can feel, well, like you're just guessing in the dark sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
Every week there seems to be a new best way, and it's easy to get totally overwhelmed, maybe even feel like, nothing is really going to stick for you.
It's true. The sheer volume of information out there, all the
Yeah.
conflicting advice, it's a lot to wade through.
Yeah.
And you're constantly seeing promises of fast results right next to messages about sustainable lifestyle.
Hmm.
How do you even begin to make sense of it?
Exactly. So for this deep dive, instead of trying to solve the entire diet dilemma ourselves, we're going to do what we do best. We're going to take one specific source you found and really, pull it apart.
Right.
Today, that source is an article called Expert Reveals the 5 Best Diet Plans to Lose Weight Fast. It's from a site called Health Reporter News, and it's written by someone presented as nutritionist Sarah Mullen.
And our mission here is totally focused just on this article. We want to walk through what it says, which diet plans this expert highlights, why she ranks them the way she does,
Okay.
what specific claims and details she gives for each one, and sort of the overall picture this single source presents so you can understand the information it's putting forward.
Okay, let's unpack what this article is putting out there then. The author, she kicks it off with a pretty big claim right away.
Yeah.
She says she's personally tested every weight loss program, diet plan, and method out there.
Wow. Okay.
Every single one. That's the claim. And based on all that testing, she says she's found the ones that truly deliver results without any gimmicks.
Uh-huh.
And you can see right there in the title, the focus is on losing weight, specifically fast.
Right. So she's positioning herself as having done all the, groundwork for you, and she's ready to give you the methods that are proven, emphasizing speed as a key outcome she was looking for.
And she presents these findings in a ranked list, scoring them out of 10, calls it the top 5 diet plans guaranteed to work, according to her system anyway.
Okay.
Let's start with what her article puts at number 5.
All right. At number 5, with a score of 6 out of 10, this article lists the Mediterranean diet.
Okay, yeah. That's a familiar one to many people. What does the source say is the basis here?
It just says it's inspired by, eating habits from around the Mediterranean Sea. Pretty standard definition.
And the key components described in the article, what foods are we talking about?
It emphasizes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats, specifically mentioning olive oil.
Okay,
Then moderate amounts of fish, poultry, and dairy are included, but red meat is limited.
got it. So plant-heavy, healthy fats, less red meat. What does the article say are the health benefits then?
The source lists lowering the risk of cardiovascular disease, improving brain function, and promoting a healthy weight.
It sounds like a generally very healthy approach overall.
Yeah.
The article describes it as tasty, varied, easy to follow, and says it contributes to a long-lasting, healthy lifestyle. But here's an interesting note within the source's description.
Oh.
It specifically points out that weight loss on this plan is not rapid.
Ah, okay. That's a key detail, isn't it?
Mhm.
Especially given the article's title is all about losing weight fast.
Exactly.
So it seems like it's acknowledged as a healthy lifestyle, but maybe doesn't quite meet the author's main criteria for speed.
Interesting point. Moving up the list then, at number 4, also scoring 6 out of 10, is the paleo diet.
Right. According to this article, this diet is based on foods supposedly eaten back in the Paleolithic era. Think hunter-gatherer ancestors.
Okay, so the idea is eating like people did way before modern farming. What does that actually mean in terms of food, according to the source?
Well, the source says the focus is on natural, unprocessed foods. So meat, fish, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruits.
Okay, and what's that?
Grains, dairy, sugars, and importantly, all processed foods are excluded.
So, really back to basics. That sounds quite restrictive, cutting out whole categories many people eat daily, like grains and dairy.
It does. What are the benefits claimed for paleo in the article?
It lists weight loss, reduced inflammation, and improved energy levels.
Okay.
The article highlights no more ultra-processed foods, which, makes sense given the whole premise.
Yeah.
And it makes an interesting point, saying this diet is not too restrictive.
Despite cutting out grains and dairy.
Right. But it does add that because you're limiting these groups, you might need additional supplements to get all the necessary nutrients.
Which seems like a fair point, actually. If you eliminate major food categories, you need to consider that. Okay, next up.
Number 3. This one gets a 7 out of 10. It's the carnivore diet.
Right. Now, this one feels like a pretty big shift from Mediterranean or even paleo. How does the article describe this diet?
It says the basis is to exclusively consume animal products. So meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. That's what it says. It explicitly states it avoids vegetables, fruits, and carbohydrates completely.
Wow, okay. Completely avoiding plants. What does the source claim you get from doing that?
The claims listed in the article are rapid weight loss, improved digestion, and increased energy.
Interesting.
Okay. The notes in the article say it's great for meat lovers, which, yeah, probably obvious.
Clearly.
And not vegan-friendly, again, obvious.
Hmm.
It advises using dietary supplements for necessary nutrients, similar to the paleo point, which makes sense if you're cutting out entire food groups like fruits and veggies.
Makes total sense.
But here's a point within the source itself that seems a little contradictory, or at least interestingly phrased.
Go on.
Right after describing it as exclusively animal products, it also says it's important to assess if it fits individual needs and to maintain a balanced diet.
Huh. Maintain a balanced diet while eating exclusively animal product.
Exactly. Just presenting what the source says there, that note about a balanced diet is included right alongside the exclusively animal products description in the article itself.
Okay, noted. An interesting turn of phrase within the source. All right, moving on. Number 2, scoring an 8 out of 10. The keto diet.
Ah, yes. This one has certainly gained a lot of attention in recent years.
For sure. The source describes its basis as focusing on low carbohydrates and high healthy fats. The goal is to get the body into a state called ketosis.
And how does the article explain ketosis?
It says this is where the body starts burning fat for energy because it doesn't have enough carbs coming in.
Got it. So you drastically cut the carbs, force your body to use fat as its main fuel instead. What benefits does the source list for keto?
It states it's effective for rapid weight loss and also for improving health issues like type 2 diabetes.
Okay. The article also adds a kind of relatable note here, saying it can be difficult for many people to give up the oh-so-delicious carbohydrates.
I can imagine.
It also labels it a wonderful weight loss plan for meat lovers, and again mentions it's not vegan-friendly.
Right.
And for those interested, it suggests you should buy a good book to learn everything about keto and, find recipes.
So, potential for rapid loss acknowledged, but with that clear warning about the challenge of cutting carbs.
Exactly. All right, we've climbed the list. We've reached the top spot, number 1, scoring a perfect 10 out of 10 according to this article. Fit Fast.
A perfect score. Okay.
The article declares this the best diet plan the author tested, and the claims are quite specific here. It allows for quick, healthy, and sustainable weight loss.
Okay. Quick and sustainable together is, well, that's the holy grail, isn't it?
Huh?
What are the specific results the source says you can expect?
It states participants lose an average of around 4 pounds per week.
4 pounds per week. That's very specific.
It is much more precise than the descriptions for the other diets. And the author includes her own personal story right there in the article.
Oh, yeah.
Claims she lost 20 pounds in just 5 weeks using this method. She writes that she found it easy to stick to, had plenty of variety, and that it fit her busy life.
Interesting. Notice how this description really focuses on specific features and that personal experience compared to the more general descriptions of the other diets like Mediterranean or Paleo.
Good point. What are the key features mentioned for Fit Fast?
Access to a personal coach available around the clock.
Around-the-clock coaching. Wow, that's a significant resource.
It sounds like it. And it mentions over 1,000 delicious weight loss recipes that can apparently be personalized.
Okay, a big recipe library.
Yeah, that's highlighted. The article lists several pros for Fit Fast, that average weight loss of 4 pounds per week being called the best weight loss method available by this source, suitable for both men and women. Based on scientifically proven methods, again, according to this source, over 1,000 recipes and instant access so you can start right away.
So lots and lots of positives listed there. Is there any downside mentioned in the article at all?
Just one minor one mentioned. It's only available on mobile and tablet.
Okay.
But the source immediately kind of spins this, saying most people actually see this as a big advantage, meaning you get instant access on your smartphone.
Right, turning a potential limitation into a positive about convenience. Now, this article also includes what looks like a comments section right below the main text. And it's interesting that several of these comments attributed to people like Karen Brown, Elizabeth Smith, Charlotte D., Kathy, Karina Taylor, and Natalie Wright. They specifically talk about positive experiences with FitFast.
Ah, so the comments presented in the source seem to back up the main article's claims.
Exactly. They mention slimming down, helpful and responsive coaches, seeing belly fat disappear, finding it manageable even when busy or going through menopause.
Okay.
And one comment from a Natalie Wright adds an extra little layer. She says her dietitian actually recommended FitFast for intermittent fasting.
Interesting. Does the main article talk about intermittent fasting being part of FitFast?
Not explicitly in the main description, no. But this comment within the source seems to make that connection.
Got it. So the article uses these presented comments to further bolster the recommendation for FitFast.
And then the conclusion of the article just ties it all together, clearly recommending FitFast as the most effective and sustainable among the 5 plans it reviewed.
Okay. Now, this is where another critical piece of information provided within the source itself comes in. And it's really, really important context for understanding everything we just discussed.
Oh, yeah. What are we looking at here?
Down towards the bottom of the page, the article includes a disclaimer and some information about the website, Health Reporter News itself.
Okay, let's break that down. What does the disclaimer say?
Well, the disclaimer states that weight loss is achieved as part of a healthy, calorie-reduced diet, and importantly, that results can vary between individuals and cannot be guaranteed.
Right, standard stuff.
It also makes it clear that the information provided is for informational purposes only. It's not a substitute for medical advice, and you should consult a physician before starting any diet or exercise program.
Okay, pretty standard legal disclaimers you often see on health information online. Makes sense. But you said there was something else.
Yes, right there in the description of the website in the source itself, it identifies itself as an advertorial.
An advertorial. What exactly does that mean in this context?
Well, the source explains that an advertorial is for informational and, here's the key part, promotional purposes.
Promotional. Okay.
It reiterates it doesn't provide medical advice,
Right.
and then it adds this crucial line that testimonials may be fictionalized or paid endorsements.
Whoa, okay, hang on. That changes the picture quite a bit, doesn't it?
It certainly adds context.
So the source presents itself as an expert review, ranking diets, leading to this incredibly strong recommendation for one specific plan, FitFast, complete with very specific claims and those supportive testimonials. But then, within that same source, buried down at the bottom, it tells you it's actually a promotional piece, and that those testimonials might not even be genuine or they could be paid for.
It's providing the information, yes, but it's also giving you that crucial context for why that information might be presented in that particular way and the potential nature of the claims and especially those testimonials.
Wow. Okay. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to make sense of this? We've just taken one specific online article about losing weight fast. We've seen it present a whole spectrum of approaches from really restrictive animal-focused diets like carnivore to broader lifestyle ones like the Mediterranean diet, all with different claims about how quickly you might lose weight.
Right, and we saw it zero in on and very strongly recommend one particular plan, FitFast, using specific numbers and personal stories presented as evidence.
And critically, we've also seen that within the source itself, it contains language that identifies it as promotional content, an advertorial, and advises caution about the authenticity of the testimonials it presents.
It's all there in the single source.
So the final thought to leave you with is this. Considering the full picture provided within this single source, the range of diets it talks about, the specific claims it makes for each, that strong recommendation for one, and the context that the source itself tells you it's an advertorial with potentially non-genuine testimonials, how does understanding all of that from the source itself influence how you might evaluate information about diet plans you encounter online, or anywhere else for that matter?
Yeah, that's definitely something worth thinking about next time you come across claims like these.